Testing. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. All right. Hey, Jeremiah, go ahead and take care of that over there. All right, T minus 5 minutes. All right, let's start it. Testing 1 2 1 2. Geezy Truth News. Geezy Truth News. All right. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you. Geezy Truth News. That's right, man. Let all the cats and dogs know. You feel me? Woo! All right. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about. Woo-wee! All right. Let's get the show on the road. Settle down now, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Okay, well, let me tell you, everybody, welcome to Geezy Truth News. That's right. Welcome, America. Good morning, good night. Welcome, everybody. Today is February 6th, 2019. That's right. The day after the State of the Union. We got a lot to talk about, ladies and gents. Got a lot of problems, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of complaining, a lot of tooth picking, and a lot of tooth combing. You know, what's going on, man? What's up with all this? All right, everybody. Callers call in. Looks like the phone lines should be open. So, where do we begin, ladies and gentlemen? We got a lot to talk about, a lot of things. Go ahead and call. Tell us your 2 cents. Tell us, everybody, what's going on. What do people think? Apparently, let's just start right off the bat. Apparently, lots of good news, lots of bad news, lots of interesting news, and a lot of developments. Okay? So, right off the bat, we'll start with the State of the Union. And then we'll get along with everything else, including economy and all that, you know, the whole shebang. So let me say this, okay? A lot of people were impressed. A lot of people were disappointed. I'll tell you what. The white Halloween Christmas party over there on the right side of the conference of the house. Does anybody know what any of that means? Lots of propositions, a lot of oppositions, lots of compositions, and a lot of baloney. This is just ridiculous. You know, this is one quite, don't even know how to explain it. You know, conundrum kerfuffle. What else? You know, excuse my, you know, I would say a little bit more, but due to FCC regulations, unfortunately, Tom and Jerry, Jack and Mike over there twiddling the dials. Thank you very much. Everybody knows about the ordeal here. So, State of the Union, February 5th, 2019. Donnie Boy. Good old Donnie Boy. Well, the polls show there was about a 76% approval rating of the speech. I'll tell you what, your boy Jeezy ain't part of that 76%. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you like it is. I'm telling you right now. Not impressed. This is, you know, I was feeling like AOC and the rest of the bologna sandwiches over there, just not impressed, shaking my head. Along with Queen Latifah in the back over there. So, I mean, sure. I mean, it wasn't a terrible speech. I mean, there's a lot of things to say. First of all, for the first 5 things. First of all, 5 of all. Number 1, he didn't talk about Pedogate. He didn't talk about end the Fed. Those are the 2 most important things, ladies and gentlemen. And he didn't talk about lock her up. He didn't talk about drain the swamp. And you know what? He barely talked about build that wall. Yeah, he talked a little bit about it. But that's it. The 5th one is like, you know, briefly spoke about it. You know, I see the optics here, okay? I get it. Well, most people, I'm sure, see the optics here. The optics here are that obviously he wants to make it look like that everything's hunky-dory here. And this is why he was acting like, oh, let's kumbaya. It's like singing campfire songs over here, passing the pina colada, is what it looked like. You know, everybody was just dancing and grooving, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, clapping up and down. Where's the term limits? Okay? Where's the term limits? Where's the trying and justifying? Okay, where's the real sneezy that we got him elected? You know, the whole reason why we put that post turtle up. And look, I'm still a fan of Donny Boy, but I'm going to say what's true and what's not. You know, I'm not going to be one of the... You can't be a bandwagoner. There's no Democrat, there's no Republican, because it's just corrupt pedophiles. You know, it doesn't matter what color. You could be blue, purple, yellow, red. If you're a pedophile, if you look like a pedophile, smell like a pedophile, you know, chances are you're probably a pedophile. So, and this is what all these people are. Most of them. I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So that's the biggest thing. You know, he wasted a whole lot of time about talking about a whole lot of nothing. Sure, great. Unemployment, this, economy. Look, we're going to talk about economy later. He keeps talking about how great the economy is. We'll see. In 10 days, in 14 days, the government is going to shut down. And if it doesn't, then we're going to have a lot of problems because people are going to get PO'd and M'd about it. And the reason why is because the way that things are going, and I don't care if this 55 3.5 3D chess, I don't care what you want to call this. There is no obvious, you know, there's nothing here. There was no glimpse of, I mean, he needs to be aggressive. He needs to say that, at least term limits. The mofo could have at least mentioned term limits. I get it. Actually, I don't. Because there's no reason not to have. That was the time to mention anything. Because you have all of Congress in the House. You got all the you got all the corrupt officials in the House, most of them. You know, pretty much the majority. You have a very large portion of the population watching. And that was the time to mention anything about Pedogate. I mean, he wrote the executive order on December 21st of 2017, I believe. But that was 2017. It's February 6th, 2019 now. So what is the deal? And this is why I was very unimpressed. I was looking at this, I was like, what is going on here? It looked like he'd left his balls in the back room, as one of my associates told me. And I agree. He left his balls in the back room, said how everybody's kumbayaing and everybody's drinking tea and having a ball. It's like a ballroom dance over there. Everybody getting up and down, dancing, everybody happy. This is ridiculous. That's not the way that it should be. With how ridiculous things are, with how the inflation rate has... I mean, any dunce can look at a graph and see the inflation rate and the income rate, and it looks like an L-shaped graph. I mean, it looks ridiculous. Anybody can look into this. Just type that in anywhere. Or find it in your local library. Go to the library and look at any economics book talking about inflation rate and economic growth and income growth. And you look at the graph and it's out. And what that tells you is that the American people are getting duped. And it's not just the American people, it's the whole world. But look, you got to take care of your own backyard first before you can start helping Qing Tao Fa over in China and Coco Mokoko over there in Botswana. There's not a whole lot of things we can do right now. And Rodriguez Escuela over there in Venezuela. And that's a whole nother thing that we got to talk about, all that other stuff. You know, because we got plenty. Because I don't oppose, he mentioned a couple things about that. So, okay, let's continue with the State of the Union. One of the things that he talked about was Venezuela and backing that Guido guy. Look, I'm pretty sure we talked about this last time. This is a joke. Mr. Guido? President Guido? Who is this guy? You seen this guy? This guy's like 35 years old. And I'm pretty sure we talked about this already last time. But there's no reason. Look, we got dying veterans. We have dying citizens. We have people on the streets. We have people... More than 50% of the population is going from paycheck to paycheck. I think it's actually more like 80%. We talked about this. And we have the sources. We have... Everybody's got the links. Everybody's got the sources. WikiLeaks, Wiki all this stuff. This is ridiculous. You got all these quotes. You got all these sources. Anyway, he kept talking about this. He kept talking about that. Donnie boy, look, buddy, this is not how things are going. He had to talk about pedogate and the Fed, term limits, corruption, the Truth and Reconciliation Project, all this stuff. He didn't talk about any of this stuff. The one good thing he talked about was build the wall. That was great. And then all the little fun facts at the beginning and all that stuff that nobody cares about because most of it is fluff anyway. Everybody knows this. This is just Bernie Madoff 2.0 or 3.0, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call this, it's a scam, it's a hoax, it's a joke, it's a problem, it's a kerfuffle and a conundrum and blah, blah, blah. You get it. So this is the thing. There was none of that discussion. And instead, what does he talk about? He talks about Venezuela. Look, I'm sorry, but we don't give two sneezies about Venezuela. Okay? Most of us don't got a few $100 in our back pocket. Okay? Or in our bank account, which I would suggest you to get out, whatever you need in the bank account for bills and such. But everything else, you need to yank that out. And by the way, there's all kinds of studies there that show that, people who pull out their stuff are much more successful in life. So just think about that for a long, hard second. Venezuela, man, we got nothing to do with it. We send money there, we send soldiers. Like, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. We gotta save our own backyard. We gotta save our veterans. Our veterans are number one, okay? Our veterans are number one. And that was great. He talked about the veterans. He talked about the Jews. He talked about the little girls. He talked, the cancer patients, the AIDS patients, the prisoners. What? This is ridiculous. He talked about literally everything besides the only things that need to be talked about. Which tells me, and I don't know if this is 365, 4.5 3D chess or what, but to me it looks like he got bought and paid for, bought and sold for, which makes no sense because the guy's got plenty of money. So again, like who are we lying to here, ladies and gentlemen? Who are we lying to? Are we lying to ourselves? Is he, what's the problem here? Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We elected that guy. He's not a politician. That's why he won. Because we're sick of politicians. We're sick of these yuppie, rich, ditzy, unintelligent, practically blasphemous, highly corrupt, highly uneducated. The list goes on. All these people, you have these people making hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions and millions of dollars that nobody looks into and that nobody thinks about. This is ridiculous, man. So what's going on? We got these people, they're all there dancing over there, complaining about nothing. It's all just a joke. It's all just a show. It's your circus and peanuts. And it was disgusting. It was volatile looking at all that stuff. It's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. That was disgraceful. So that's what you have to do. You know, anybody, please put anybody up there. You know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Right then and there, inside the house, right there and then, he should have set up the trial to most of those people. 1/3 of our Congress has dual citizenship. Think about that. What does that mean? There's like 535 congressmen, if not more, in our, in our House, and 1/3 of them, which is about 180-ish, have dual citizenship. Now tell me what? Tell me what the hell? Oh, excuse me, FCC. What the heck are they doing with dual citizenship up in our Congress, up in our House of Representatives, up in our government? What are they doing there? And what are they, and what's going on? And let me tell you, things are not looking pretty. You know, I keep saying the good guys are winning, and I truly believe that. But, man, it's hard. I'm going to tell you what. In the words of DMX, I'm a dog, and don't push me down. And that's what that means. If it's so what are we gonna do? So we'll see in 14 days. Okay. Oh no, excuse me. Yeah, is that what it is? 9 days. I think it's actually 9 days, because February 15th is the day that should be the government shutdown. And they need to, and when they do the government shutdown, that's another thing that he needs to do, is then why in the heck are these people getting paid? If TSA is not getting paid, if Coast Guard's not getting paid, then what the heck are these congressmen and women in Congress? You know, if there's any of them, you know, who knows at this point? Who knows? I have no idea. I sure as heck do not know, because it's time to really get cracking. You gotta stop paying these people. Got to start installing term limits. A good amount of them have been serving in Congress for 30, 40 plus years. It's an outrage. See how much money they have. See where their back pockets lie. Follow the paper trail. Follow this. Follow that. So I don't know what else to talk about, because, you know, of the State of the Union. If there's anybody, callers, call in. I have nothing else to say about it besides very disappointing. I was baffled. By how disappointing it was. And again, I could keep telling you different words to express my opinion, but you know, I think we all get it now. So let's go on. Let's move on, because at this point, there's not a whole lot we can do. We got 9 days. In 9 days, we'll see what happens and what's going on, because people are getting ramped up. People are understanding. People are waking up. People are understanding this. Because how many, you have to understand that these people, these elites, look up these Rothschilds, look up these people. Look what they're doing. Look up the interviews. They got their own interviews. Saying that, yeah, like, we're doing all this and we own all this and we own all, you know, they got nothing to hide. They got all this. Amazing, man. Amazing. In the most worst possible way. So let's try to move on, huh? Okay, so we got all that. We'll see what's going on. So let's go with the rest of the show. Callers call in. What do we got over here? Okay. All right, so the next thing, I guess the Q post. I guess we could talk about that. So here's the deal with this. The Q conundrum. Look, the last time that we've heard from him, I haven't really been following this guy. You know, there's some people who follow him. I'll just tell you the last couple posts. Okay, the second to last post, he says, you know, what is it? your hard-earned tax dollars at work. Look, we know it's all scammed, okay? PP spent 30 million, disclosed real time. It's like, what is this, for an ant? I can't even read this. This is ridiculous. And then the last post, February 1st, 2019, he sent a picture. You can look, I see this on the QAnon pub. Go ahead, Mike and Johnny can post up the links and the sources. This should be on the right side of the screen or whatever. Should be all there. But look, the last post of February 1st, 2019, this guy shows like a stupid picture of two airplanes. I'm not buying it. And again, it's like a picture of the size of an ant. I can't even look at this picture. It's like two planes in the sky. Great, you know? Great. And that was for, yeah, so whatever. So that was the last thing. And then the second to last, it's like, party is something, why can't you raise money? It's like, and then he replies, what events followed that post? Coincidence, Anons understand, Q. Okay, so there you go. It's ridiculous, you know? I want to see action, man. I'm tired of all these words, man. I'm tired of all these words. We need action. We need action. We need justice. And we sure as heck are not seeing it. Okay? And that's the whole thing. Okay, so great. So next, let's get on to economics. Okay, let's go through the barnyard here. Let's go through the barnyard of economics. Okay, so first off, looks like today, Wednesday, Dow Jones, 25,390.30. It dropped 21 points. It's an outrage. I mean, these Rothschilds, man. It is so hilarious how they're propping up the stock market so ridiculously. I mean, you know, of all the trillions that they have, you know, some speculate that they have 500 trillion. You know, on paper, you know, funny enough, on paper it says like they have 500 billion. But that's, you know, obviously on paper. I mean, can you imagine what kind of crap that they have over there? And real scientists have speculated up to, if not more than 500 trillion. 500 trillion with a T. With a T, boy. Tell you what, I couldn't even count that high, 500 T. So that's what happened today with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. 25,390.30. It dropped 21 points. Minus 0.08%. So there you go. That was today. They say predicts profit. Looks like a lot of bulls in the room. They think a bull. Well, let me tell you, I'm a bear. It's going bear. They can't keep propping this up, man. I mean, yeah, they can because they created it and they invented the computers and all this, and they could just a flip of a, you know, it's just buttons. You just click these buttons and yeah, blah, blah, blah. But man, I mean, I believe there's white hats in the CIA. I believe there's white hats in the upper echelons of our government, okay? So I'm thinking that they're doing real hard. Like, where are they at? You know? There's that one guy. What's his name? Jack Shipp or something like that? Kevin Shipp? Something like that? Go look him up, Kevin Shipp. He's like a former CIA guy or something like that. And he's got interviews, and he talks a whole lot of sneezy. Let me tell you what, he talks a whole lot of sneezy. He says the dark, you know, all the dark projects, the black projects, this and that. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we're more than 21 trillion in debt, and some reports say that the Pentagon has no idea where like 9 trillion of it went. Even if it's 1 trillion, even if it's 1 billion. I mean, even if it was $1. I mean, seriously, how stupid can anybody be? I mean, people are so broke these days. I bet everybody's keeping track of every single dollar that they have. And that was like, oh, where's my dollar? These people can't find $1 trillion. I know exactly where all my ones are at. And I bet you do too. Because we can't afford that sneezy. So it's like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. When are these people going to go up with it? So on to the next, okay? Let's go to physical metals. Okay, so let's take a look here. So gold, last up, 1306. So 1,300. It's been hovering. Look, these metals are bought and paid for, bought and sold for. You know, Finex or Finex or whatever. What is the money market called? It's dude. Like, really, bro? Silver has been hovering for the 15. Everybody knows this. Silver's at 1564. And silver and gold is 1,300, okay? And I don't really look at platinum at 800, palladium 1,300, rhodium 2,300. You know, it's just all just it's all just nonsense. But there you go. But it's the thing is that it's held there. It's held there. It's being suppressed. Everybody knows this. It's very obvious and common sense. So there's that. Let's go to the crypto market. And this has also been hovering. You know what I'm really afraid of? I mean, they've been doing this again. We talk about it. So BTC is at 3,400, 3,417 and 12 cents is the evaluation of it. And number 2 is XRP, Ripple, the bank coin. Okay? The XRP is bought and sold for. It is used as, man, I can't believe it. They've just propped it up so high up. I can't believe it. All the banks and all the Microsoft and all the banks and all that pumped so much money into it. I can't believe this, that it got up to number 2. And it's only worth 29 cents. Because there's 41 trillion of them. 41 billion, excuse me. 41 billion of them. But I'm pretty sure they keep getting created or some kind of nonsense. That's the great thing about Bitcoin. We've talked about this over and over again, and anybody who listens to the show would already know how this works. But there's only 21 million Bitcoins, and that's it. Right now, it's at 17,523,612 because of being generated through the computer mine work, you know, the miners. But there's only 21 million, and that's it. But with things like XRP, see, it even has a star next to it. If you go to coinmarketcap.com, you can see the star. And I bet you more than anything that the star means that is because it'll keep bidding. It's never ending. And that's why it's worth 29 cents. But the banks and the elite have charged so much money because crypto and Bitcoin scared them crapless. It scared them outrageously. And, you know, this is you get what you get. And unfortunately, this is why it's hovering at the 3,400 mark. But I guarantee you that it's Bitcoin is going to skyrocket so much because of the scarcity. So that fact and that fact alone. There's other things too, but that fact and that fact alone. Because everything else is just suppressed, fake, fiat, junk. So that's the whole thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. You know, we're obviously going to talk about the main points that we talk about every time. But callers call in. You know, we got this big thing. So first of all, Pedogate. They say some crazy sneezy is going to happen with the Pope in February. It's February 6th. We haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything. But it does say Pedogate arrests continue to pile up. Here's we'll go ahead and oh, that was a while ago though. Hold on, let me give you a recent article. That's not cool. But this looks like a good site right here, thepedogate.com. With some news with somebody who knows anything about this. So take a look at that. And again, you know, the pedophile who murdered 8-year-old, you know, there's all these people, you know. It's 6-year-old school children forced to write gay love letters to teach diversity. I mean, whoof, man, this is hard to read. Satan worshipping schoolgirls plotted to kill 15 students, drink their blood. Activist who exposed Clinton-tied child trafficker found dead. Pedophiles set free after declared child abuse is a cultural thing. So on and on and on. I mean, you see all these crazy things and people know what's going on. But I want to let people know that things are still going on. And what's up with that Jeff Epstein guy? Okay, people still don't have this Bill Clinton guy. This even Donnie Boy. They went over to Jeff Epstein, a convicted pedophile who it looks like proven Jeffrey Epstein, pedo island, kids raped, murdered, and cannibalized, and all caught on video. Plus, the arrest of Pope Francis goes horribly wrong and erupts into violence. I mean, this is just, oof. So that's on that website. You go like I would not even, you know. People need to know the truth, man. This is crazy. In my opinion, I mean, tell me anything more important than this. This seems like the number one thing. And our government has something to do with it. Even if it's through even if there's a third party, you know? Even if it's like somehow funneled and they're not, even though it's been proven that there's been blackmail, like, it's also been proven that at least 1/3, if not half, if not more, has been not convicted, but proven to have blackmail. They're blackmailable, very blackmailable, and they have all this stuff. And that's why all these lobbyists, and that's why they all have millions. That's why most of them keep, their eyes wide shut. Which is, I'm pretty sure, a great documentary. You know, you have to look into all that. And all this crazy stuff. So there's that, okay? It's crazy, man. You have all this stuff, man. Call in. So here you go. Here's that exact article I was talking about. Bill Clinton went over to that pedophile island like 30 plus times, okay? And Donnie Boy even went there a few times. I don't know what. But this is all very sketchy. I would never, you would never catch me dead in anywhere near a pedophile area, place, island, out of all things. I mean, that's how you know you really got to get there. That's how you know you really, if this was like a whoops on accident, you don't fly over or swim over to an island on accident and be like, oh wow, So there's that, man. So pedogate, number one thing, in my opinion. Callers call in. And then, of course, end the Fed. And I found this website, endthefed.org. This is a very good one. And let me tell you, because this website tells you good things, it probably better explain it to you than myself. But here you go. Check out the website. And right here it says, and as I've told this plenty of times, and anybody knows, right here at the beginning, what is the Fed? The Federal Reserve, which is the Fed, is the central bank of the United States of America, which is actually false because it's not even of the United States of America. It's a private. The Federal Reserve is a private entity. But the Federal Reserve, the Fed, is the central bank of the United States of America that was created in 1913 by Congress, who was Woodrow Wilson. It is a banking cartel that has a government-granted monopoly on the creation of money and credit. The Fed literally loans money called Federal Reserve notes into existence, and they print it too. Federal Reserve notes are paper promises backed by nothing of intrinsic value, otherwise known as fiat, and they're only functioning as money because the government forces them on the public through legal tender laws. Federal Reserve notes are referred to as dollars, but are not. The definition of a dollar is a weight of silver, which is 371 grains. I actually was not aware of that, but I do know about it's backed by gold and then backed by silver. But anyway, so there you go. To put it simply, the Fed is a group of banks running a national counterfeiting operation with the protection of the government. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. This is all you need to know. So that is number 2. That is number 2. So please, do your due diligence. Do your research. Figure all this out. What can we do? What are solutions? Well, we remember, first of all, with the pedogate thing, is we have to try and justify, okay? We have to try, just like the Nuremberg trials. It's what we have to do. We have to do the Nuremberg trials, U.S. version, because I mean, it's like, well, many people view this as the Fourth Reich, and I'm sure you've heard that term being bounced around. And, you know, whatever you want to call it, this is no, this ain't no joke. And then, with number 2, with end the Fed, this was done twice before. We've already had this history lesson plenty of times before, but again, we have to reiterate it every time so people know, and those that don't know, is that, to my knowledge, okay, nobody knows anything, and apparently common sense is out the door. But back in 1860, when was that? I don't know, 1863 or whatever, 1861, or maybe even, I'm not going to make up the number, but look up when Abraham Lincoln brought the greenback dollars. He decentralized. So right now we have a centralized bank. And the Federal Reserve is the third Federal Reserve in existence, you could call it, because it was the first, and in terms of modern history, because I'm sure they had it prior to, you know, British times and all that stuff. But we're talking about in modern history after we had the Revolutionary War. We're talking in 1776 and afterwards, in that period and after. There's been 3. And the first, it was called the United States of America Bank, or like the Bank of the United States. And Abraham Lincoln figured out that this was a joke. He figured out this is a joke, and I could be paraphrasing and all this and all that, but bottom line is, to put him simply, the bottom line is that around that time of Abraham Lincoln, he took back the decentralized the bank, created the greenback dollar. It's called the greenback dollar. You could look that up too. And that was how he funded the Civil War. And, you know, people were PO'd and M'd about it. Obviously, the bankers and all that, the Rothschilds, whatever you want to call them, the Khazarian Mafia, the Illuminati. There's so many nicknames. They have so many cliques or cliches or whatever. It's like nicknames, like, who cares? But anyway, they had the first one. Abraham Lincoln figured it out, was like hell to the kneesy. Got rid of it, created the greenback. And we all remember what happened with that. And actually, before that, I'm pretty sure Andrew Jackson was the first one to do it. And that's why, and there were assassination attempts with him. But he was quite the BA, as we heard. But anyway, so first was Andrew Jackson. He took it out because he realized it was horrible. This is horrible. This is worse than standing armies. So he got rid of it. And then Abraham Lincoln figured it out, got rid of it. By this time, it was called the Bank of America 2 or something, the Second Bank of America, something like that. And because people woke up and figured out what the deal was, that's when, instead of calling it the Third Bank of America, they wised up and called it the Federal Reserve. And that's why in 1962, I believe, or when was that? 1961, 1962, JFK tried to do the same thing, and then we know what happened to him. And this is why we voted Donny Boy, honestly, is that I thought, we would hope, most of us would think that this is what he would do. This is what he has to do. And so that's the thing, okay? So that's the whole thing, man. So we'll see. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. All these industrial complexes, all these problems, all this stuff. So some people got to worry about negative 60-degree weather and all this crazy stuff. So NASA just recorded, I read a recent article the other day that NASA just reported the fourth hottest year in history. Give me a break. This whole country is like frozen. Like the whole Midwest and East Coast. Talk to any of those schmucks and ask them what is what's the global warming and how's your pet palm tree doing over there. They'll tell you real quick. They'll tell you real quick in a New York accent what's going on. Or whatever. Whatever. So so we'll see. I think the bottom line is to collect our thoughts towards the end here. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to Geezy Truth News. Believe the good guys are winning. I'm just here to try to help. Everybody's here. Look, we all got it. We're all patriots. We're all U.S. citizens here. We all got to take care of our country, ladies and gentlemen. We got to do what's right. We are U.S. citizens. We are patriots. Thank you very much. and Jeezy is out.